Welcome to episode 559 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
That actually sounded like almost normal then, just for a bit.
Yeah,
we're all back.
People,
but wait,
people that greeting from Stepdad sounded pretty much normal.
That was pretty much
Give it
normal.
10 minutes.
I'm okay.
It sounded like I could actually almost hear your voice in there, which is for the first time tonight. Unless you've been bunging it on in the whole preamble when we've just been chatting.
No. No, I wish.
Because it's the most... What the fuck's going on with you, Glennie?
I'm just fucking around with my
Did that show up like the same for you on the screen?
bright red.
He was like bright glowing red.
Hey, do that again.
Like the
do
sun.
it again.
This is riveting. Fucking how about we stop the riveting talk? Everyone's back on deck. Righto.
We are. How good is it getting someone
Glennie.
back from injury?
Nathan's in a mood.
I'm in a great mood. What are you talking about? My mood is incredible.
Just starting to pick fights as soon as you fucking show up late. Just dive in.
Yeah, we just
Start
had to
swinging.
Yeah, but I had to get you fired up. I mean, if that gives me an extra 25, 30 minutes on the back end when you're not falling asleep,
No, I'll be asleep.
then my job's been done.
I'm probably going to fade hard again. I'm just going to give you the idea.
Yeah,
Went to a 40th birthday party the other week, and someone that is that I know personally that's in the group has said, "Geez, you cop it. Geez, you cop it hard." I was like, "Yeah, it's part of the thing. I don't know how it got to be this way, but it's how it is." I just go about my business, little Aussie battler, and trying to make his way in a tough-ass world. And just set upon by the hordes of the unwashed.
Wow. Unwashed.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
The unwashed autists.
So is there any more to the story, or someone just came up and said, poor little fella?
No, he's just, he keeps an eye on the group, and everyone likes to pile on. And I'm just there trying to do my best. Trying to be a fucking...
Maybe the thing about the group that people don't realise is that people they like to fucking pile on everything at all times. Doesn't matter what it is. They pile on it.
You get off scot-free, Nathan.
Ugh, I don't know about that. The difference is you can't just engage. You can't engage them. You give the little cat some milk, and they'll keep coming back for more milk.
I'll tell you what. It's the thing in life. Sometimes, in some situations, you are the Glennie, and sometimes you are Malaysia. And it just so happens that on this show, you're Malaysia.
That's an interesting analogy. Quite offensive, I'll be honest with you. In light of recent discussions.
Like 5 minutes ago. Yeah. Tell us about something else, then, Glenn. Tell us a story about Sea Grey Touch.
We had a bye on the last weekend, so didn't play. But
Fuck me, this season is so... Just let me stop you there. This season is so fucking uninspiring. It's not like last season there's tries and fucking the team's rising and
Correct.
there's epic stories of like a touch you just got or nearly, guy nearly got on you or whatever.
Like that
And this year it's like, we're off for school holidays.
You've had
we're having
fucking
a bye.
9 buys.
Not going to make finals. We're having a bye again. Yeah, we've got a bye next week too. Are you even fucking doing it anymore? Why am I even trying to make you the most famous touch player of all time?
We'll fucking talk in a couple of weeks' time when you have to come up the hill again for the grand final.
Oh, that's what I'd like to hear. Is that going to happen?
So we've got last regular season game this weekend. And
how many times do you have to win this game to make the finals?
Just once. No, we're in. We're already in the finals, so we're good.
Really? Because everything you've been saying in the lead up is like,
couple of wins early on.
Happening.
Couple of wins early on in the season.
Right.
I think we had one draw. There's a team that hasn't won a game, so they won't be playing finals. We will. And it's that old adage, Nathan, like we've been there, done that. We've made the grand final last year. We're just the real season starts.
Got to lose one to win one.
Well, the real season starts in the playoffs, as they say.
Right.
We've just got to get through to the finals.
I hope I have to make the trip up again because it's a fun day.
I hope you have to make the trip up again too.
And I'll tell. And if anyone comes up to me and tries to tell me that they're more famous than you are in the world of touch football, I'm going to have to be forced to tell them the truth and say, "Who the fuck are you?"
Hang on, you're not
because I won't know.
You're not the Roosters.
Sorry,
you're not the Roosters, are you?
No, we're the Lions.
So this Saturday, the 27th of July, the Lions are playing the Royals.
Yes, correct.
You just said you had a bye.
No, last weekend, dickhead.
I've got the game coming up now.
I got a game this weekend.
So who are the Royals? Who are they? Have you beat them this season? What's the go?
I think... No, they beat us just recently. We beat them earlier in the season, and they beat us last time we played them, so...
Oh, okay.
This is the team that's, notorious for a bit of niggle, bit of chat, fairly aggressive, wanting to start a bit of fucking push and shove and argy-bargy in a game of touch football.
Yeah, so Royals.
There's a few millennium moustaches out there, a couple of these guys.
See, that's the sort of situation where you should thrive and play your best.
I agree.
And also, make them, piss and shit themselves just with your words.
So the Royals currently second on the ladder.
Oh.
Yeah, for now.
Having 5 wins from 9 starts.
That's all right. They do take their C-grade touch very seriously.
Just pipping the Lions, who have had 2 wins from 9 starts.
Yeah, correct. I don't know why you had to bring that up.
So when you said a couple of wins early in the season, you literally meant 2.
Well, yeah, I didn't realise it was quite that bad. I'll be honest.
My brain kind of extrapolated that into 4. Something.
I must admit, fucking, what have these cunts been doing? I missed a couple of games. Jesus, I chalked them up as wins, but whatever. We're good.
Nice.
Boys are pumped. We've had a just a difficult season, put it that way. We had some guys go up to B grade. Some younger guys that were quite handy for us last year. They've gone up to B grade and are killing it. They've been playing well in their own.
How's their eligibility look to drop back down?
No, not possible.
No.
I don't believe that is possible, but we've had some fucking injuries. I guess it's probably to be expected when the average age of the group is fucking 45. And we do play in a cold asshole of the earth of a place. So there's a few niggly little calves and hamstrings and, I think...
But you're in the finals.
Well, that's all that matters, isn't it, really?
Is that going to change with the loss this weekend?
No. Well, unless the Sharks team that's running last, they haven't won a game, so they can't win 2 games on the weekend. So,
all right, so I guess
here we go.
All right,
going to upset the Royals.
Tommy Raudonikis.
Upset the Royals. There we go.
I wouldn't hate it.
And fuck the Royals.
Yeah, I agree.
What a shit thing to name your club. Oh, fucking oppressive fucking upper class that's done no work and just taken everything from good fucking hard-working battlers.
Yeah.
They might really just like
encouraging
the
people to
song.
spear off the road in a tunnel.
Well, just absolute sack of cunts they are. Absolute sack of
That's the thing.
cunts.
The Lions are going to be chasing them through the tunnel.
Let's not
and
forget.
And they're going to get fucking wrecked.
Imagine.
Get riggedy wrecked, Glennie. The big diesel's going to chase them through a fucking French tunnel.
Did I tell you got new rails? The big diesel's got new rails. Some flash fucking Asics white boots.
Didn't they have any Nike ones in the shop?
Not good for my old fucking feet and ankles, my man.
Same factory. The same fucking Chinese kids make every single boot.
Okay, Phil.
Except the fucking...
okay, Phil.
The Adidas ones that are fucking, made by
Poppy's
Nazis.
off on a rant about Asians again, my God.
I love how this cunt tries to weave 5 different agendas together into one fucking conversation. It's like, yeah, fuck you. Oh, that's right. Fuck that guy over there in fucking Europe as well. Stitching shoes. Fuck him.
Fuck you, Hans.
So, Glennie,
Fuck the Royals.
have you
Fuck
broken your shoes in,
Adidas.
Glennie?
I have played a couple of games in them now. They're very, very good.
How many meters of pace did they add?
0. Absolutely 0.
Oh,
Tell me,
awkward.
can you still buy footy boots with the replaceable screw-in studs?
I believe you can, yes.
Fuck
I do
yeah.
not have those.
Oh, man, the fucking memory. Do you remember you'd buy them and they'd come with the plastic studs in them? And then you'd have to get upsold and buy the metal ones?
So you could, like, cut people.
Well,
Yeah.
Shave
No,
them down,
that-
like grind them down.
When you hit someone with the spin kick, Glennie.
like
Yeah,
that.
when you hit him with the spin kick outside the canteen.
Like that
Start
ice
talking shit
hockey
all
guy.
game.
Just fucking. Just,
Fuck
Right.
is going on?
let's
The
go.
light on this camera, it's doing my head in.
I thought you were fucking about with this. That looks all right there.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I thought it was that thing where if you make certain hand signals, it'd do something. Do we still get those?
Surely.
I don't know. I mean, given the fact that it's not an audio, it's not a visual show. I'd say, how about we don't experiment with that on listener time?
We should do that. We should just set up we should set up a studio. We should all retire and just fucking sit around in front of our fucking backdrop
Imagine.
and just talk shit.
Just like TWiL Big Brother. We'll just live in a house and put cameras in there 24/7.
Fuck.
Get like a
Cunts, I will stab you both to
find
death
like an
in
old
your
Callaway.
sleep.
Find an old like Callaway golf ad or something like that, and rip our logo off it and fucking call ourselves like, you know, the One Team Legends or something.
Fuck yeah.
The one club superheroes.
Let's go.
Some shit.
I would stab you
Like
both
that.
to death in your sleep if we lived in the same house.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, well, I would. Well, then you'd be your name for the show purpose of the show. We'd call you the Dean or the Headmaster or something like that.
Yeah.
Something schoolish,
Not the intern.
because that's usually what the fuckhead's called. Yeah. I suppose there's not going to be any news, is there? Is there old stepdad Raudonikis with you?
There is. There's a little bit of news. Australia and Papua New Guinea will host the 2026 Rugby League World Cup.
That's right.
So that will be held across
What's it? I haven't looked into
both nations.
I haven't looked into the specifics of the thing, because when I actually saw the original tweet, I clicked on it and it went to a 404 page file. I found the error.
So there's nothing official.
So-
There's nothing official about how many games will be in PNG or where games will be in Australia.
How many people are going to die?
The interesting
There's
thing
also
is
the PNG team's is going to come in as well, and
so the
I've just seen the
big news
junket
is
from
the
like people like
contenders.
Dean Ritchie and stuff. The what?
the number of contenders. So last World Cup there were 16 teams competing, which has been
Right.
reduced to 10.
Ugh.
Great. Oh, there's nothing better for expanding the fucking
than reducing
expanding
it.
international game than having less teams.
So that means that
That's tremendous.
Australia,
How
Samoa,
ambitious of the NRL.
Australia, Samoa, New Zealand, England, Lebanon,
Island.
Tonga, Fiji, and PNG. They've pre-qualified because they reached the quarters in the last tournament.
How many was that you just said?
8. So they all reached
Okay,
the
so it's 2 more.
quarterfinals.
So there's 2 more that can go. There's 2 more.
So
that
there's
can
2
go, and then that'll
spots.
Finish it off.
Yeah, there's 2 spots. And the contesting teams for that are Cook Islands, Jamaica, South Africa. So that's
Just put them all in.
one bracket. And then there's
Qualifying for what?
the European tournament, which is France, Serbia, Wales, and Ukraine. So yes, it said
Look, with that small, tiny snippet of information, I feel like it lacks ambition, and you should be probably trying to build upon things.
Fucking just put them all in.
wouldn't that be good?
They're all just playing for the right to get absolutely fucking trounced by Australia or New Zealand.
There you go.
Including England.
Exactly.
And
because fuck the Royals.
It will also have a men's, women's, and wheelchair tournaments running simultaneously, which is good. Cool. They're going to put some white people who can't walk in Papua New Guinea. So that's a great move.
Look, I can't wait till more information comes out, and also I want to hear like the rationales as well, like why has the number been trimmed down of teams that are going to be in the final tournament and that sort of thing? Because even 10, like how's it work? Then you've got uneven pools, or like all just that shit, like how it was going to work.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, look, face value. Not that ambitious. I mean, I understand why they want to jointly sort of host it and have PNG hosting games because it's looking like that. They're going to be the ones that come in after the Bears in Perth. And so yeah, I think there's a bit of work to be done over the next. What's that? It's in 2 years' time the World Cup, isn't it? And then it'll be about like what 4 years the team comes in, maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I think there's a little bit of work to be done there.
There we go.
As far as understatements go, that's
yeah.
Tristan Sailor.
Generous.
Tristan Sailor has reportedly asked the Broncos for an early release, and they have said sure. With the rumour being that he will end up at St Helens.
Okay, well, I mean, probably not even a rumour then. I mean, if it sounds like it's done, deal done. Who cares?
Oh, look, it always shocks me, though, when someone that young makes England their first choice.
Money, bro.
Well, I mean, who well, there's certainly nobody in Queensland where he could land.
No.
And he's behind, obviously behind Reece Walsh at the Broncos.
He's behind Walsh, but it should be clear to him by now you may not be a first choice NRL fullback. So is he getting good advice? Is he getting, well, look, you may need to go to somewhere and play on the wing. You may need to play wherever you need to play. You may need to be a 14. It's just automatically,
money to play in England and have a bit of an adventure.
Yeah, good on him.
Smash his way through some women with crooked teeth. Great old time. Establish himself, come down. Like,
why'd you go?
Every little boy's dream, isn't it?
Why did you come to Super League? Wanted more money and to get some weird shaped bite marks on me.
Bring me your most dentally challenged wench.
I want a woman with a smile like someone gave Michael J. Fox a pen. What else was happening in the news?
Fucking days.
Jason Riles.
If that's a story if that's a story that you saw, that's Jason Riles. That's a better story. The Eels have finally got their next coach to ruin.
Jason Riles, officially taking the role as Eels coach, but taking the role as number one in my heart by stating that his first moves are going to be to remove the captaincy from Clint Gutherson and also shift him from fullback. So Riles turning up at Parramatta.
Put him. Did he say? Did he say shift him to where? Like with the centres or something? Is it or?
I don't know. A fucking euthanasia pod, but
or St Helens.
Yeah, mate. Bring Tristan Sailor in. So Blazers obviously set to take the number one jersey to keep him at the club, which would essentially make Gutho. I don't know. Do you play him in the centres? Do you play him on the wing?
Well, me personally, I mean, I don't, but the Eels are paying him enough money that he can't shift to the halves because I saw some frittata. There's someone who played the game, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, Dylan Brown. Well, you can shift him to lock." What?
No,
you can't.
No, you cannot.
No, you can't.
Yeah, no.
Fuck.
Was that Steve Roach?
CTE
like that, or
CTE's unfortunately been confirmed for fucking
You.
Yes! Fuck, just both at the same time.
I was trying to find the paragraph I was reading before for James Graham, who said,
Really? I mean, yeah.
If Lockie and Dale Finucane had a kid, it would be you right now.
James Graham argued that Gutherson would be similarly ranked to Penrith star Dylan Edwards if he was playing in a team that were constantly on the front foot. So
they're in the grand final they're in the grand final like the other week.
Yes,
Like, it was just weeks ago when they were in the grand final. What the fuck is he talking about? Like, this is not a team that's been like, you know, I'm not going to invoke the name of that other team, but they've not been propping up the table for 3 years.
They're
definitely. They are subject to like massive swings, though.
They are, but that is
bottom top.
That is close to the most cooked take I've ever heard. Especially since, like, did you see that Origin clip of Dill that was doing the rounds on socials? Might have been last week, where he makes a tackle on the Blues' right side, about 20 metres out, and then the next play, he's on the opposite wing, making a tackle.
Yeah.
And then in the next set, makes a break and runs 40 metres to get him out of trouble. Like, it's elite placement and it's elite fitness. Neither of those is Gutho. So that's about all that we've got in terms of confirmed news. There's a whole lot of, as usual, alleged or maybe or whatever. But that's the news for the week.
Fine.
Oh, Meninga's going back to the Raiders. There you go.
To do what? Coach them?
So
kick the esky across the room again. Someone fucking Ferner walked into the dressing room one day and said, "You know what? This esky isn't kicked enough for my liking." Get fucking Mal on the phone.
So that the Raiders confirmed last Wednesday that Meninga would work with the club in a variety of initiatives and programs. So Meninga will be involved in things like recruitment, retention, mentoring, and leadership.
Mal Meninga has had more jobs where he does absolutely fuck all.
Fucking oath.
Than any other human I've ever fucking seen.
Mate,
starting with the Queensland Origin job.
Certainly, like anyone outside of politics, and I mean, he had that as a job too for 5 minutes.
Mate, years and years and years ago,
that's where he learned it.
Years and years ago, I did some business with Mal, and I can say that he is probably one of the most astute businessmen when it comes to an eye for reward versus effort opportunities. And by that, I'm not saying that he's lazy, and I'm not saying that he, but he can sniff out hey, do fuck all, and this is pretty good for doing fuck all.
Yeah.
So, and if you're going to play a game where you get absolutely fucking belted and do it in an era where you weren't compensated like they are today, if you can use the name that you made from doing that to set yourself up later in life, good fucking on you. There's the news. Let's go.
The biggest news story, of course, is that we found out that his stepdad, big fucking Mal Meninga fan, stepdad, huge.
Oh, look. The
biggest. A lot of people have been saying that, a lot of people talk about being fans of Mal Meninga. But everyone's saying it.
Mate, I'll tell you, there's one of the...
Stepdad is the biggest Mal Meninga fan. Everyone said, look...
I'm going to change my Twitter handle to the biggest Ninga.
They did a study. All right.
No, same. I met one of the Coin brothers who owns fast food restaurants. Exactly the same thing. Like, just put himself through hell physically for a number of years because he loved the game, and now he's been fortunate enough to parlay that into a decent lifestyle.
What brand of fast food?
Mickey D's.
There you go. Now, Let's talk about some games.
Let's do it.
I can visually see your voice getting worse.
Yeah,
with every passing minute.
on the little fucking badunka-dunka. It's like one of those heartbeat machines in Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, like, and now I got you to Tommy Raudonikis. I'm going to try and finish the episode before you hit a Darren Lockyer. All right?
Oh, look, I tell you, we're going to move right past Darren Lockyer into that fucking weird cunt from Total Recall.
Which one, like Quatu?
Yeah, him.
Glennie. This is fantastic.
Glennie,
open your mind.
Cool reference, Glennie.
There's fucking 3 references that I'm just like, yeah, that's cool, guys.
You've seen Total Recall.
Never seen it.
You were a kid in the 80s, and he'd had a woman with 3 titties in it. How do I do that and get a fucking thumbs up? I did the pew pew, and I got a thumbs up.
Yeah. I guess just Skype just saying,
please stop.
You're doing a great job, pal. yeah. Stop these, like, you look like you're selling ShamWows. Now, we move on to the game.
Raiders Warriors. Let's go.
Yeah, Raiders Warriors. Oh, we're just going to go through these really quickly. The Raiders 20 defeat the Warriors 18. The big talking point out of this game is, do you think that Chanel Harris-Tavita should have taken another year off to practice goal kicking?
At least a year. Or, if you were that bad at it, why are you taking the kicks?
Well, yeah. I mean, he did, Pompey did take one, which he did promptly successfully make. But, yeah. Wasn't great. But
look, I thought it was a tight contest between 2 very similar sides, and as we know, tight games are often decided by goal kicking. And
they're two sides that sort of that have the ability to beat anyone on their day, but there's just something about both of them that they're just not quite there.
Yeah, I agree. They do have the ability to beat anyone on their day, including themselves, and they do that more often than they beat other people.
Yeah. I don't have any much else to say, but we're going to blast through these and talk more about the upcoming ones, or what?
Sure.
Let's go.
Cool. Okay, so the Rabbitohs, this one we spent a good 20 minutes on. The Rabbitohs defeated the West Tigers in the cricket match that you would have anticipated, I think. Glennie, 42 points to 28.
I didn't expect us to score many points. I wasn't expecting a cricket match.
Really?
I was expecting perhaps a cricket score to be put on.
That's been your season, though, Glennie. There have been games.
I expected this to be a high scoring game where South scored more points, but you got enough to win a game, which you did. You got 28 on the board.
Oh, the game. We had the lead. The game was there to be closed out if we were good enough, and we weren't.
Yep.
Fucking poor, Luke Laulili, sorry. Couple of howlers that led directly to tries.
It was Barry.
He'll learn from that. But fucking embarrassing. And
what will he
learn though, or will he just get dropped?
He will learn he's the footy.
He will learn that Benji is not teaching him anything.
He needs to touch grass. Or maybe not. Benji won't teach him to touch grass. That's more a Freddie thing, right? I don't know what else to say. They had some good moments. They put points on, but as has been the case for 3 years now, there's moments where we just don't look to be of NRL standard.
The thing that gets me about the Tigers is that they've actually shape-shifted through several identities, but all of them identities have been equally similarly as bad as each other. Like remember when you won the comp, it was like, we'll score more points than you score, and it was just like attack, all out attack. Then you get into this era, even the more recent part of this era, there was a time there where the Tigers actually had some, looked like they had some defence. and they're trying to basically, it was probably like with Madge started out, right? Just they're trying to base it on the, that didn't work. So now it seems like they've gone to a more like, throw the kids in there and just, score points with zero
defense,
zero care. Well, just zero care about this. It appears like there's no application of it because, like you said, I mean, they can get themselves in positions to win games and they can score lots of points. But I feel like it's like a free-flowing shootout situation when that happens. And the problem is, in a free-flowing shootout, the other team's always going to be able to defend just that little bit better to pull away.
I'm surprised you haven't brought up the fact that Benji, I'm sure you guys would spin it that Benji sacked Robbie. So Robbie is stepping down as the attack coach.
What do you think happened there? I did not. I knew he was assistant, but I didn't know what his actual role was. He was the attack coach.
I think two good mates that have been working together decided that Robbie's business interests, gave him an opportunity to move into something else full time, and that the Tigers could move in a different direction with their attack.
I believe that's the case. I would like to ask you a question though, as the resident West Tigers connoisseur. I'm going to give you two guys. It's a package. It's a coaching deal. You can assign the guys whoever you want. You got this guy, and all he's about is fucking putting on goosies, stepping, throwing fucking, flick passes to lead to iconic tries in grand finals where the flick pass was a small part of it, but Paddy Richards fucking, did all the work. Really, there's a lot of work to be done, right? But anyway, there's that guy, famous for being an exciting attacking play. Then you got another guy who's famous for fucking hogging the ball, making 60 tackles a game, and doing nothing with ball in hand, and punching the fuck out of that guy that. Punching the fuck out of that guy that ate dicks up at Burleigh. I forgot his name. The one that wanted to sue us.
Anthony Watts.
So, you got those two guys. Who's the guy that I'm going to choose to run my attack? Who's the guy you're going to choose to run your attack, Glennie?
John Morris.
The guy who illustrated no attack? Or understanding of attack at any stage in his career?
That is absolute tripe, Nathan. And 14 plus years of you speaking absolute rubbish. This has to be up there with some of the fucking
attack isn't just like passing the ball. Passing the ball from dummy half is not attack. That's like the foundations of football, mate. All right, making 60 tackles is not attack. That's his fucking.
What job. I want to. Look, at the end of the day, they've had a gentleman's agreement where the attacking coach, Robbie Farah, is no longer going to be with the club.
Do you reckon that's what it was?
John Morris, our defensive coach, still sitting pretty up in the coach's box.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's what it was? That Robbie's done, they figured out all he was doing in these attacking sessions was saying, boys, the best attack is to make 60 tackles a game? The best attack is defense.
But that's,
like training, like drilling shapes and different types of plays and different looks. That's important. But you know what else is important? Attacking with your defense.
Attacking with your defense.
Hit the bags. Hit the bags.
Now, and when everyone's done that, I want everybody to pretend it's the fifth tackle and take a hit up for yourself. From 12 metres out.
I will reward you.
We'll try and grab her a field goal from 50 metres.
Into 9 players. Well, we've drawn 9 players to our side. I want everyone to take a hit up yourself and not spread it wide. Pretend you're me in State of Origin. Let's go.
It did seem that people were trying to make it a thing that it wasn't, but it did seem actually it was quite amicable, and I don't think there's anything to it, at all.
Oh, look,
and like us,
if Robbie was having a blast and everything was rolling and they were winning, he probably stays. But I would suggest that the West Tigers is not a fun place to be at the moment.
Fucking shocked me. Would you say that the West Tigers have the worst defence in the comp?
They are the most offensive team in the comp.
I don't think... Do they have the worst defence in the comp?
They'd have to.
You tell me.
Well, they're for and against is the worst. So if you're for...
Yeah, but they've copped some scores too, though, you know what I mean? Like
because their defence is...
Shit.
Yeah, but there was, it's like, yeah... I'm just going to have a look at the actual total points. Yeah,
conceded
actually,
more
they
points.
Are edging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're just like I would consider it as edging the Eels out because the Eels are not great either at this point. And it's actually very close to you guys. The thing with the Eels is the last round we're going to get for the first time in quite since 2020 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going to get a genuine Hyper Bowl.
Yeah, wow.
Eels. It's actually going to, because the for and against are quite similar, but it's going to come down to premiership points on the table.
Looking at this, the West Tigers are number 1 in the league for missed tackles. So 677 missed tackles over the course of the season. Oh no, sorry. The Dogs are number 1. That was the
game. That was the stats for the last game.
The Dogs are number 1 for missed tackles with 679. The Tigers are second.
Yeah, that makes sense.
677.
Okay. So obviously the Dogs' defense is actually quite good though. So it's what they're doing after that tackle's missed.
And again, we've spoken about this before. Missed tackles is one of those stats that can be a little bit misleading.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of you can slow somebody down enough for another tackle to be effective. Made tackles. So this is you would say the most number of defensive sets. The Knights are number 1. Tigers are number 6. So Knights, Broncos,
I was less
Roosters,
impressed
Cowboys.
with the Rabbitohs though. They were pretty ordinary in patches of that game for a team that's been on a reasonable upward tick for quite a while now.
They have had the blessed Origin run where they didn't have to give up anyone, until game 2, and they got that rails run through Origin where they're playing sides that better sides that with players and
that's it.
That sort of thing. So I think that what we see from South, I don't think it's going to improve. I think they've just about found their level now, and they're not going to there's not going to be this miraculous run that takes them all the way up to the finals or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, let's move along.
Just very quickly, Glennie,
yes.
How sustainable is Aiden Caesar just being the new fucking Radley and getting sin binned every fucking game?
It's fucking not sustainable. That's why he's not going to be there after this season. So, yeah, he's spent a large chunk, far too long on the sidelines for ill discipline, and it shows no sign of, his level of uncontrolled aggression. I don't have a problem with aggression, but it's uncontrolled. And
is it just me, or I don't remember him being like that before he went away.
But he's been in England. Maybe maybe he went to England searching for people with straight teeth, and he's come back disappointed and frustrated.
Yeah, maybe. And he's taken it out on other. The one thing that we can talk about, that Bateman thing. Are you aware of the Bateman thing that's happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's immediately going back to the UK on a short-term contract for the rest of the season over there, and then apparently will be coming back and serving out the last 2 years of his contract with the West Tigers. Next season, the season after. He's never coming back.
Never.
Right? He's not coming back.
I don't believe he's coming back, and I don't hate it.
17 fan bases breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah. He was so fucking lucky that Sam Burgess existed. He was one of those Poms that came in off the tail end of Sam just being such a fucking dominant force.
He was pretty good at the Raiders. Then fell out.
Yeah, I feel like he was all right. Like in that 2019 sort of
100%
Raiders, wasn't it? When they were sort of getting up to the contention, yeah.
Well, he's lucky he landed at fucking England down under when he got here. So
but this contract with the Tigers is fucking horrific.
It's
terrible.
It's pretty bad.
All right, let's go on. The Broncos 30 defeated the Knights 14 in Newcastle. Broncos up on top well and truly early.
Yeah, I thought, people making a lot of noise
it.
about Walsh, but he was... Fuck, he made some errors. And, he did some good things and had some great moments, and it's like trying to tame a Brumby.
Mate, it's that thing. He essentially has almost a nil-sum impact on games. As in, he will do 4 amazing things that you look at and it's individual brilliance, and he creates for others, and just by being there creates opportunities for those around him. And then he will also have 4 absolute fucking howlers that either cost them points or have points scored against them. So
Broncos definitely looked improved with Reynolds inside, still clunky. And the game was over with 10 minutes to go, 15 to go or whatever.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's a call from Reynolds to mentally know that he can get through the game, or whether it's Walters wanted to make sure he had extra run in his legs or whatever. But I'm just like, fucking, for a guy that we know to be injury prone, just
pushing their luck.
Get him off the fucking field.
Yeah, that's it. 100%. 100%. Again,
but they got the win that they needed.
They certainly did. I didn't think the Knights put up as much of a fight as a lot of people expected.
No, and that's and then it wasn't as much as I expected. I expected that the Knights, like the Knights with Ponga and Gagai back in the side, like I expected them to be and obviously Best being injured didn't help them, but they've been playing okay, in previous weeks after a horrible start to the season, and this was like the worst of it.
Yeah.
But they actually had their Origin guys back.
Yeah. Which is an unfortunate time of the season to have a dip in intensity, especially when you had another team there.
And to have a dip in Bradman Best as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Just when the Knights are really in that tussle. They haven't fully lost touch with the 8 yet, but it's getting to that point, and this game was almost the those teams are on 20 points at the moment. That's 4 points out of the 8. There's still time.
Yep.
There's absolutely still time.
Well, it's not even that they're 4 points out of the 8, because the Dragons are also on 24 points, and the Dragons are in 9th.
Yeah.
So 9th is in 24, and all of those teams, bar the Broncos, have a worse for and against. So
it's actually crazy how bad the for and against for everyone outside the games, isn't it?
The Raiders, the Knights, and the Warriors, even on 19 points, they all have a negative for and against. Whereas the Broncos have a better for and against than 8th, being the Cowboys. So the Broncos are a genuine 2 points out of the 8. Everyone else is going to struggle.
Yep.
Unless you do a ladder predictor. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not doing the ladder predictor there. I'd say we bring the ladder predictor in next week, though.
Let's go. Can't wait.
You bring it back when you can actually speak a bit better. I think
Lovely.
You're going to do a lot of talking in your ladder predictor. Anyway, move on to Storm 24 to feed the Roosters 8 down there at the Korean Housewife in Melbourne. And I did expect Melbourne to win, just given the home field and their defence, and the fact that it was a fairly evenly matched game on paper. But man, like Tupanua in the centres, paired with Dominic Young, absolutely bathed by. Let me check the notes. Grant Anderson. It must have come this must have been a shocking, like, not to lose necessarily, but just the way that they played and like the Storm could have won by a lot more. I think by the way the game went, just by the difference between the two sides in the game, they only got that last try, kind of late, and to sort of blow it out from like 18-8 or whatever it was, and I mean there could have been much bigger margin, I think, just from the difference between the two sides and the way they played.
Yeah, 100%. When you look at it, though, the Roosters had a 17-11 error count. And 11's massive for Melbourne. 11 is fucking child life ending for Bellamy, but to have 17 errors against the Storm, that is fucking suicide. So for the Roosters to complete at 63%, and I know they had 2 sin bins across the game, so they would have been absolutely fucking empty at the end of this game.
I'm concerned if there's this level of disparity between these two sides of the comp.
Yeah.
It's looking very much like a 2-horse race.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's almost as if they're the Sharks of last season.
yeah. And putting
this season, I might add. But
putting Tupanui in the centres looks clearly coaches get CTE too.
Certainly fucking.
The problem is when you put your marbles into someone like Billy Smith to play centre for you.
Yeah,
it's not going to end well.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, guys like Pappy look at Billy Smith and go, "Damn, that guy's got some bad luck with injuries."
Yeah, that's it.
Like he's like Samuel L. Jackson in Unbreakable. Moving on, if you're ready to. The Panthers 28 defeated the Dolphins 26 at Bluebet Stadium. Just getting the result that I needed after talking the Panthers up. But man, the Dolphins can fucking unassailable lead. I mean, there was a time in this game where the Dolphins would have been leading, probably 26-12, I reckon.
Yep, that's it.
And honestly, 40 was on the cards, the way that they're playing.
Yeah.
And the way that they absolutely went into their shell, and there's just like there's no other way about it. They went into their shell, and then just allowed Panthers to do their thing and claw their way back, and Cleary finished it with the field goal in Golden Point extra time. But just that, like they actually played like a side that didn't have a good coach, which we know is not the case. Like Wayne can generally sort of close out a game, and they didn't go into their shell. They actually just capitulated, and even so much so as like they had a set where I think they got a penalty and they got carted downfield. They had sort of like a full set of 6 or whatever, and there was about 3 minutes to go, and they didn't go for a field goal.
Yeah,
and they were so like they didn't even try set. They like at the end of the set when they were down there, they sort of went for a crossfield bomb, like trying to score. I mean, obviously great work trying to score the try, but I mean it's 3 minutes left. You don't have to defend too many sets.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're right there. Take the opportunity.
Yeah, take the point that's on offer. But this was about as bad as Penrith plays, and they somehow found a way to pull out a win. And I mean, people put a lot of emphasis on the Golden Point field goal from Cleary, but man, he got fucking the 26 points that the Dolphins scored. There was so much of that went through him, through the Cleary causeway of just like the defense on his side where he was not great, and in a team that's had liabilities in other places in defense, this is I think the breaking point. Like it's a breaking point of the Panthers of losing.
Yeah, look, I'm not.
It's just amazing. It's amazing how critical Stephen Crichton. Like when you look in hindsight,
yeah.
If you had if you spaced out all the players like Birdo and all those guys that were going to leave them over a couple of years, and Kikau and stuff, Crichton is the one, and
he's the biggest
by far.
Well,
by far
the best defensive centre in the game. He's the best defensive centre.
I would go so far as to say I don't think Crichton is far off being the best player in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
That's fucking outstanding. His leadership.
That is not a silly thing to say at all.
He just so impressive, and he gets better the higher the level that he's playing at, whether it's Origin or finals, grand finals. But just outstanding. I'm a huge fan.
Definitely. And look, Cleary's just come back from an extended period on the sideline with an injury where it would have limited the amount of cardio work that he could have done. So for there to be a little bit of space in and around him, I'm not too concerned about. It's also he's come back to a team missing its Origin reps. And so not only was he dealing with being freshly back, but was dealing with new people in and around him. Across the park, it was the same story of the guys did a good job, but they're not Origin players. I don't think Dano had a bad game at fullback, but there were a couple of times.
No, I think he's like, playing like West Tigers Player of the Year. What was it, 2022? I mean, he's playing like he's great. Like he's a legit backup.
Yeah, 100%. But again, there were some times where positionally, it's a case of 10 meters left or right, and he shuts things down. But it goes just to show just how lucky we are to have players like Dill, to have Yowie and those guys who are called up to play Origin. And when it mattered, Cleary came through as the most clutch player in the history of the game. So, all in all, without the Origin starts, it was a good result.
All right, moving on to the fucking Des Has revenge game. The mighty Manly Sea Eagles 38 destroyed the Titans 8 at Brookvale Oval, and it was great. It was great to welcome Des and his side, just to compare and contrast the organisations post his leaving. The Titans front loaded their game so hard and threw everything into the first 20 minutes to the point where they were fucked after 20 minutes. And the second that they started backing off and couldn't, and it started looking like they were tiring, we changed our prop rotation, put the next guys on, and then proceeded to fucking dominate them for the rest of the game and not give them a sniff. Turbo's ended any arguments about should he be fullback, should he be centre? I mean, he should be fullback. I mean, this is one of those games, and it's no surprise that with Turbo at fullback, the last two games Manly put on massive scores. So
would you
it was amazing.
And let me preface this with, he's a fucking amazing fullback. He's a generational talent at fullback. Would you rather extend his career though? Would you rather get 80% of his greatness for another 5 years instead of 100% with him playing fullback for maybe 2 years?
Yeah, but you're going to. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to promise. That sort of thing though as well, right?
No. That was a would you rather. I'm not saying put your house on it.
But what have I got to do to get only 80%? I mean, because
put him in the centres. You got to put him in the centres, play him in centre, and you get to keep him for another 5 years. Yeah, but he's going to have 80% of the impact.
Yeah, like for 80% is probably a decent output when you consider what he put on the table in this game. I mean, like he scored 2, probably could have scored more himself if he had been the one to get the last pass on a cast of characters bursting through to score. But starting, it's actually for the first time in ages, it's actually starting to get guys come back from injury. Like Paseka off the bench. Didn't do a crazy amount of minutes, but what he did do was a crazy amount of, for the time he was on there, the amount of work he got through in post-contact meters was great. Brown better and better every time. Lawton, now that they've finally realised, and maybe perhaps him to an extent has realised that he's not a hooker, he's a great fucking edge player. And so he's finally found his role. And if he wanted to stay there, I think the Cowboys, I mean, when I think about what the Cowboys have got in their side, I think they probably bought him to be like a 14 type of guy. Which is probably a mistake. But look, it's great game from Ben Travojevic as well. And I'm starting to think that as much as versatile as Ben seems to be, I'm starting to think that maybe he's a centre too, because there's been a couple of games, and they've been big games this season, where someone's gotten injured and they've had to reshuffle and he ends up in the centres. And he's like just shut people down. I mean, it happened against the Panthers in one game. I mean, it's happened in this game as well. When so yeah. Look, Titans, the old Des training and the conditioning and things like that. That was us, 2 years ago. That's what they are now, and they ran out of speed. I love it. Ran out of steam. I love how fit that we are at the end of every game. Even games, if we don't win the game, we still seem to finish the stronger of the teams in terms of the stamina and everything, so which is a great thing to build upon. And poor old Desi had some friends that sit in the season tickets in front of the the coaches' boxes, and apparently after the game he just sat there for like 10 minutes, like virtually catatonic, looking like he was on the verge of tears. Just sat in the coach's box, and meanwhile, people outside the box are just fucking giving it to him, obviously. But yeah, unfortunate, Debbie. Didn't have to end like this, but it did. And the Gold Coast Titans are a team that we actually struggled with them at Brookvale for whatever reason. It holds no aura for them, and they usually do pretty well, but not this time. Fucking drilled them. A game that had to be won. We just need to really just pick up the 2 points and move on. But the fact that we actually can, drill them, and the attack gets better, the defense gets better at the right time of the year. Fucking, who would have known?
There we go.
Cowboys 20 defeated the Doggies 18 up there at the abattoir. And this is a game that Doggies are very confident to get themselves onto the edge of the edge of the top four, an unlikely edge of the top four situation. And because traditionally, from what I've seen this year, the Cowboys are very easy to beat at home. So teams would go up there expecting to bank 2 points every time.
It's been far from a fortress, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just squeaking out this game, like the Dogs are much improved this year over where they've been over the last few seasons. But yeah, I was actually surprised that the Bulldogs didn't get the job done. I've not been overly impressed with what the Cowboys have done this season, and yeah, just I expected the Dogs to win, and the fact that it was close, and stayed close enough for the Cowboys to actually take an opportunity and scratch out a win, says probably a lot more about the Bulldogs than it does about the Cowboys.
Or is this that the Cowboys are finally playing to potential? Because you look at them on paper.
Well, I mean, the
Cowboys are an 18-point better side potentially on paper. They just haven't been there at all this year.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, didn't they have more Origin players than anyone but Penrith this year?
It's possible, but I mean, also you got to remember before they got fucking drilled by Manly, the Cowboys had won like 5 of their previous 6. I mean, it's not like they've been in shit form at all. I mean, they actually have been started. Like, business has been picking up for that team until and they picked up another one against the Bulldogs here. However they did it, but I mean, that still puts them in what 5 out of the last 7 or 6 out. Like they've done. They're in reasonably good form at the moment.
Yeah, there you go. Cowboys have got 5 State of Origin players in there. They should.
You look at some of their performance though, like against Penrith at Bluebet, and that you're like, well, maybe the players that aren't Origin players are better.
That's the thing. Would you, in opposition to the Dogs that have won, and albeit a couple of guys who might consider themselves unlucky to have not played, guys like like Birdo, and players who would be upset they didn't play, considering all the drugs they've taken, like Bronson Cherry. It's So
look, the thing is, the Dogs defense is fucking great, big tick. Their cover defense and just like the general intensity and the way they mop up, defensive mistakes, great, big tick.
Yep.
I think the problem is like the points have always been a problem for them. The only time they tend to put on scores is when they're well on top of a team and they sort of get that break where they're more than like a try or two ahead, and then they can start to have fun with it and throw on points after that.
Yeah.
But until they get to that point, and they've got to get to that point to do it, their kind of points are still a bit of a problem for them. But the other thing is, I think like just discipline.
Yep.
As well, like while they have defense and they can mop things up or whatever, they also can give away some stupid shit too.
Look, penalty count was 9-6, so you're 100% right there, and then also the sin bin.
Yep.
So they didn't do themselves any favours.
No, exactly. But look, I feel like this is the first year where you can clearly see that Serraldo's actually made some headway with the playing group and getting them to perform what I assume he's looking for.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, he's had to have like an entire roster overhaul to the man completely and get rid of some, gets rid of some players that didn't like a wrestle.
Yep.
But it seems like he's got some guys that bought in now, and I mean, defense is always the first kind of clue to that. And so he's got them bought in on that respect. So look, maybe you can get Trent Barrett in there as an attacking coach for him.
Ooh.
Did you get that thing I said? Did I send you that text today, Glennie? Some West Tigers fan on Twitter said many wouldn't agree, but I think the West Tigers could really use Trent Barrett as an assistant next year. He has plenty of experience in that role and has done very well for other clubs.
Wow.
My response to that tweet, well, inside, because I don't like engaging with people anymore, but my response to that is, please make it so.
Haven't we suffered enough?
Because you would have to agree, as much as you might love Benji as a person, former player, whatever, even coach, you would have to agree that the West Tigers of pretty much any club in the competition are the club that if you were an ambitious assistant looking to like usurp the head coach and perhaps look for the easiest path to getting to become a head coach, probably West Tigers would probably be the one, I think. Where like performance is not great, coach is beloved, but he doesn't have experience. Also, the guy in charge of the hiring and firing now isn't like it's not like the established fedora routine that they had previously. Like Richo's a bit more ruthless.
Yeah,
I think in terms of that sort of thing.
Yep.
So who knows? Maybe that's where we see Trent next.
Oh,
I mean, Robbie's just left an attacking coach opening. An attacking coach opening just opened up. You told us yourself, Glennie.
Raldo worked with him at Penrith. Won a premiership with him at Penrith.
Yeah. I mean, from what I saw, there was a lot of credit headed the way of Trent Barrett for the Panthers' attack.
Yes. It was all him.
If it was him giving it to himself or someone else. But
he has fucking forged a career as a head coach and dined down on that more than any other human could possibly hope to. So
that's it.
More than Jared Hayne on Uber Eats after the grand final in Newcastle.
Oh, mate. How did we get back here?
This week's games, Friday. The Warriors take on your Tigers, Glennie, at Go Media Stadium in Penrose. And I just bought myself some flights to go over and fight some scaffolders. So I'm going to grab one of the. Well, I'm going to grab one of the old TWiL tourist stickers. I'm going to slap it right in their fucking scaffold.
There you go.
See how I like it.
Fuck yeah.
And if any scaffs want to fucking try and stop me, guess what date? But yeah.
Well,
look forward to that coming up.
I for one love that you've embraced the scaffolder.
If there's anything, honestly, at your funeral, people will be like, it's talking about their reminiscence about Glennie and what they learned. And I say, you know what I learned? I learned that every New Zealander, without exception, is a scaffolder.
Yeah,
and everyone will be sort of like, they'll be drying their eyes, but like sort of smiling and nodding at the same time.
He was right all along.
What did you call them before? Smooth brown Malaysians.
Tiki Malaysians.
Malaysians with jandals.
Moana Malaysians.
You know what?
Chili bin laksa.
The Tigers playing the Warriors. Two of us. Shek goes back to fullback. What could possibly go wrong for the Tigers?
Oh no!
Charlie Staines still being trotted out in first grade. Latu Fainu playing 7 in absence of Caesar, who's suspended again.
That's going to be that's the plan going forward, right? Like Galvin, Fainu, and then like De Silva. That's kind of like the spine of the like the future
this
intended
year?
anyway, right?
What about Luai,
Well, just
mate?
like oh yeah, you got him coming through. Yeah, what happens with Fainu in that case then? Because Galvin, I think, he'll be the one that stays, right?
No,
In first grade.
well, he's leaving.
You'd have to,
You
right?
told me he was leaving fucking after his debut. So
He
Yeah,
is.
that's true.
you're the
to
man.
leave.
You're the one that knows.
Yeah. I do know that some talks have gone cold, but I mean, if the Tigers keep losing, maybe you'll want to win. I don't know. But surely that goes for like fucking 22 people in that squad there.
That's fair. I just want to see just a moment.
Tell me about Tony Sucker.
I'll get to Tony. I saw that too in the team list. I was like, there's something there. Let's find it. But I just want to see a moment that illustrates the hype behind Latu Fainu. I haven't seen it. Very limited opportunities in first grade.
Didn't he do something like, back around Easter?
No.
I don't know. I thought he did something and then he got injured, which is also a very Latu Fino experience.
Okay. No. A lot of hype.
If nothing
a lot of
else,
talk.
the deal is giving you value for money. In fact, like Samuel is playing as well as he did when he played first grade for Manly, but Sione's actually started playing good.
Yeah, he's
and he was the Luke Burgess of the family.
okay.
So the fact that you've actually got some like great minutes out of him.
Yeah, he's actually been quite good. And Samuel,
I saw there was a game. There was a game there where he was.
He's been solid.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been great, but I mean, like there was a game there like a couple of weeks ago where Sione was the Sam Weller of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Like undisputed. So yeah. Tony Sucker, let's go. What's his background? What's his story? I've never heard of him before.
Mate, I've got to be honest with you, neither have I. Junior club, Enfield Federals, Strathfield Raiders, Concord Burwood Wolves. Fuck me, he's been searching for an opportunity. He's got 3 junior clubs. He's only 20, 104 kilo. We need some size. That's about all I know about Tony Sucker. He's got a great name.
He does. Now, listen, the Warriors side, like I said, two of us.
I bet he can fucking fight.
You think?
A name like that. Jokes write themselves.
Look, I'm going to have to tip against you, Glennie. Sorry, mate.
Oh, fucking shock me. I
don't love the Warriors. This is going to be another shootout. I don't think the Warriors have got the most incredible defense in the world either. They're just going to score more points. They're just going to score. It's going to be another. It'll be a scoreline like that Souths game again, all over again.
Just mark my words. I just want to see.
Mark your words. What?
Latu Fainu do something.
I hope he does something for you, mate.
Just because all his time in first grade has been spent shoveling the ball. That is it.
Yep. So you're feeling like you're not getting your $500,000 worth? Is that what you're saying?
Look, I'm just saying he comes with some big talk, not necessarily from him, but I've seen fuck all.
All right. Nice to see the Tigers turning
on a a lesser level. I wouldn't mind seeing Laulili have a solid game. Don't expect him to be a standout, but a couple of howlers like that can weigh on a kid's confidence. So
you just want him to have a solid game with no errors or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Just sort of get that demon off him. Yeah,
just get it. Get the stink off him.
Yep. All right, the Eels take on the Storms at Combank Stadium, Parramatta, which is going to be the Panthers' new home ground as well. I saw announced through the week.
Fucking what?
While they're raising the shithole out there and putting some new stuff up there, they're going to play 8 games out of Combank.
Oof.
They had a whole tweet about it the other day with like a video with like kids with fucking mullets and shit. It was great.
Fuck yeah.
It was just so Panthers. But anyway, the Storms take on the Eels. The Eels, big trouble here.
Huge.
Big trouble.
$6 outside.
Mitchy Mo's out for the rest of the year after doing his duty.
Yeah.
for the State of Origin side, and we know how they went without him
Yeah.
pre-Origin.
Yeah. Para's going to get destroyed.
Yep, I think the Storm are... Yeah, they just really want to consolidate their position in the top two going into the end of the season, so, you know, Craig can start resting guys. And so games like this, where they can, you know, potentially rack up some scores, are a nice little stepping stone for that.
Yeah.
Broncos and Doggies, Suncorp Stadium.
Broncos.
So here we go, the defence.
Yeah. Broncos.
The defence of the Doggies versus the Reece Walsh, Selwyn Cobbo, Ezra Mann factor.
You'd like to think that the Broncos took some sort of confidence just getting a much-needed win last week. How that translates to a better quality of opposition in the Bulldogs remains to be seen. They are at home, which is big. Reynolds with that run under his belt still in the side for the time being, but you just never know with Adam Reynolds, do you? Because, you know, injury prone and stuff. I'm going to tip the Dogs.
How dare you say that
What?
about that guy that's out every fucking week with injury? How dare you?
Dogs 13 plus for me.
13 plus. I don't think the Dogs have enough points to get 13 plus, but I think the Dogs can win. They're a big step up from Newcastle. I don't think they're as big a step up as you think, because they are still one of those sides that's going to be fighting out for the last. I think spots 5 through 8 are going to be fairly hard fought for until some of the teams can get dropped out of there. Like Dragons obviously keep hanging around just outside, but if the Broncos aren't going to make a run, then I think the Doggies are going to be fighting out for the with the rest of those 24s down there. I don't know if the Raiders can get their shit together, but they're in striking distance. I'm just putting my tips as we do this. I've got the Warriors being West Tigers by 26 points. Yes. Storms smashing the Eels. Okay, yeah. So look, the Broncos are going to win. The Dogs do not have 13 plus in them at Suncorp Stadium over the Broncos. They may only score like 22 points. So you're telling me that they're going to restrict the Broncos to 2 tries or less? I just can't see it.
Well, I think the Broncos are going to restrict themselves to 2 tries or less.
Right. Up at the Abattoir, the Cowboys take on the Sharks. Cowboys, fairly handy favourites for this one. I don't even remember the Sharks. What have the Sharks done lately? Oh, that's right. They fucked up the Tigers, didn't they? That was it, though, right?
Yeah, that is
legitimate.
legitimate.
Yeah, okay.
They did.
Yeah,
Still
and
third.
You know what? That
Sharks,
is not
biggest frauds in the comp.
Yeah. Yeah. How are they for buys? Have they had all their buys?
Yeah, 3, yeah.
They must have. I was going to say, there's got to be a reason why they're up there. Why they're right up there like that. Yeah, okay. I am going to tip... I'm tipping the Cowboys. Fuck it. Let's go. No, Nico.
Yeah.
Are we know the West Tigers does not signify that you are back?
No, definitely not. Tend to agree.
Nice.
I think the
Chad revenge game.
Oof, spicy.
Also a Val revenge game though too. Well, that's double. That's just too much revenge, right?
That's a lot of revenge.
It's a lot of revenge. Yeah.
I feel the Sharks' ceiling is higher than the Cows. Even though, again, as we discussed in the reviews, it probably shouldn't be. But I think the ceiling for the Sharks is higher, and I think they have more reason to really be honing in on good performances at this end of the season. So even though it is a travelling game, I'm going to pick the Sharks.
All right. The Roosters take on the mighty Seas Eagles. Very, very wide odds for some reason. Do the bookmakers know about someone being injured that we don't know about yet? Because I'll tell you, I've been watching all of the training videos, and all the stars look to be on deck. But I mean, to buy at $3, that seems to me, especially after the recent form on both sides, $3 seems a little bit like free fucking money to me. Beat him in the first encounter this year. I really don't understand why it would be so wide. I mean, this is game is playing for a top 4 berth. I mean, they're 1 point ahead of us on the ladder, so we'll switch places if Seagulls get up and win, which they will. I saw on James Graham's podcast, had Brandon Smith talking about the game, and apparently the Roosters players are all very excited about there being no Homoli this week, and that Cheese made a comment along the lines that he retired Luke Keary and sent him off to play in France where there's no Homolis. So
bless that guy.
Bless that loose moochin degenerate.
Mate, all jokes aside, he's your most damaging player by far. By far.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
And I'm really surprised.
All the other damaging players.
No, not at all. But I'm really surprised he didn't get more time in Origin. I think he's built for that.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I had against Madge in Origin was some of the way, like, I think his selections were bang on, pretty much, unlike what Freddie did. But still with his bench rotations, I mean, you can't argue like a win's a win.
Correct.
But I mean, it was fucking weird. Like, I mean, selecting Homoli because he's like, one of the best in his position, and then playing him like as a middle though for like 20 minutes, like it's fucking weird.
But especially, you're in a situation where we were running fucking rampant over them. You throw him out there on an edge, and all he's going to do is fucking destroy cunts and go into game 3 with a fucking giant murder boner for Queenslanders.
Yeah, and especially when he's like, the side of the field that he plays on was up against Dearden, who in game 2, you remember, had an absolute barrier. He was just getting absolutely like trucked on every single time he tried to make a tackle.
That's it.
So, yeah. But anyway, look, at the end of the day, wins a win.
Wins a win.
Thank you, Madge. You're great.
In Madge we trust.
Ready. In Madge we trust. Until we don't. New South Wales always in a fucking game, etc., etc. Manly 13 plus. And, top 4. Who would have thought?
Well, you at the beginning of the season.
Honestly, in my most optimistic, I would have said like around 6th.
No, you said top 4. You said top 4. Go on, listen to it.
There's a lot of season to go. Dragons take on the Panthers, and this time the Panthers are rampant favourites. Can the Win Stadium factor protect the Dragons this time, as it has numerous times?
No.
I don't think so. I'll tell you what, though, the Dragons, I mean, if Flano has any coaching juice left in him, having the Dragons just outside the 8...
It's a big scalp. It's a big scalp.
It's at a ground where they always do well.
It's a statement, too, to the rest of the competition.
Just cannot see the Dragons getting over the top of the fucking Panthers. Come on.
Listen, if the Panthers play like they did last week, I'll give them a chance. But they're not going to play like they did last week because it requires them to play like that 2 weeks in a row, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So they always have to have a game. They always have a game in between. Like, if they're gonna play shit, they're not going to do it twice in a row. They're going to go like one break one. So, and that's what we saw. And guess what? Last week was the shit one. So, sorry, Dragons, you're going to get fucked up. Dolphins take on the Titans, Suncorp Stadium. Very heavily tipped the Dolphins on this occasion. And look.
Bookies are in love. Bookers are in love with Redcliffe.
They are in love with the Dolphins.
Sponge rolling it.
They're reading a lot. They're reading a lot into how badly the Titans got fucked up last week, mate. They're playing Manly. I mean, what did you expect? You don't extrapolate this to the Dolphins, who capitulated, who had the foot on the throat of the Panthers, 14-point lead. Should have went ahead to win by 26.
You should have, but the Panthers got in their heads, which the Titans aren't going to be able to do. So if the Dolphins play like they did in large part against Penrith before they gave up the lead, it's more than enough to get over the top of the Gold Coast.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to see who comes into the side this week. I mean, let me have a look. Oh no, Aaron Clark's in there at prop again for the Titans. So Dolphins by 13 plus. The Raiders take on the Rabbitohs in Canberra in the evening on Sunday. Who's going to win, Glennie?
It's got to be getting cold down there at the moment, but
yep.
You shat on KO Weeks pretty hard, Nathan.
Yeah, I stand by it.
Really?
He's fast.
I think he's actually
he can run.
He's growing into first.
He can
grade.
run fast. Yeah, maybe
his time at Manly
do it on
was
their
too
fucking
soon.
do it on their clock.
Yeah,
not on mine. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you're not gonna. I can't throw you into 7, or fullback or whatever position you're playing each week.
Mm.
I can't have you growing into the fullback jersey at Manly behind when you got Tom, and then you've got Tolakola, and then you've got Lee Hyde's advent of him this year as well. He looks like another next level fullback. I can't afford to have you fucking play piss ponies dropping bombs and shit when I got those guys waiting in the wings.
Piss ponies.
I can't throw you into the fucking halves with Brooksy pumping his little legs.
Definitely not.
Because KO Weeks can't pump your fucking legs.
I feel like the Bunnies will be better than they were against the Tigers last week, and they scored a lot of points against the Tigers. I don't know that Canberra have the defensive prowess to counteract those points, although they do have some points in them themselves. So I just think the improvement in South is enough to get them over the top of Canberra.
The thing of I mean, Cam Murray's a big out for Souths.
Huge.
Look, I guess we're going to find out if the whole Canberra is still a thing, because this year it's been making me think that maybe it's not until last week. So now's the time. Is it still a thing or not? I'm just going to let the rugby league guys decide. But until they decide either way, I'm going to say I'm going Raiders. You can't trust Souths. You can't trust them.
You cannot trust Canberra either, mate.
I mean, you can't trust Canberra either, but I mean they're slightly higher on the competition ladder, so I just find them slightly more trustworthy. But yeah, no. The more I think about it, I'm starting to talk myself out of it. Hey,
no takesy backsies.
I'm with you, Glennie. Yep, no, I'm going Rabbits. Change my mind.
Wow. Okay.
You've talked me around. That and scaffolders. You're too close to fame. Oh, that's it. And Newcastle have a bye, so I mean, yeah, that works. That works for fans of rugby league too.
You're still awake.
Anything else?
That's the round.
Mr. Raudonikis.
That's the round.
I'm still awake.
I feel like your voice. You're still awake. Stepdad can still speak. It's a Christmas miracle.
You're still a cunt. Look at that.
I'm still a cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah. That's it. Is there anything else?
Oh, just
feels like an abrupt note to.
Just need a win. We need a win on the weekend for C grade touch. I cannot see it happening.
You really do.
But
what I want to see from you is an incredible run. Win this week. When's the last round? Is this the last round?
Bit of a try scoring drought for the Diesel too. Just quietly, I might have to.
When's the last time you got over the stripe? Second game.
Yeah. No, I think I scored. I think I scored each of the first 2 weeks.
Gee, what do those weeks have in common?
Well, I don't want to be that guy, but I will be.
It's like one of those things. Big Diesel scores. Get Big Diesel the ball. Let him work, and look what happens. Wins.
Let me cook. Let me fucking cook.
Let him cook. Let him cook up a beautiful Malaysian meal.
Get your hands off my penis,
Glennie.
Nathan,
and that concludes
I said,
episode
get your hands off my penis.
That concludes episode 559, title of which is Succulent Malaysian Meal. I hope you enjoy it.
So good.
I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.